Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to She Loves the Thursday Night Vibes. How's everybody doing tonight? How is everyone doing? I would like to start off by saying SWAC football is here, y'all. It's here. It's here. It's here. So while we're waiting on everybody to come on in, go ahead and like the stream. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscription. Not subscribe. Hit subscribe. Nobody's going to know. They're not going to know if you subscribe. So I won't tell anybody if you won't. And as long as you don't comment, no one will know. How they're going to know? They're not going to know. So I am excited because tonight I have a special guest, and I'm always looking to converse with other people, bring other opinions to the channel. So tonight, y'all, we're gonna welcome them bougie bulldogs to the house, okay? The bougie bulldogs. That's right. We usually only have Jay White representing, but I have a special guest tonight, and we're just gonna chop it up. We're gonna have some fun and show my guest host for the night some love. We have none other than Wayne Cartwright. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on? It's good to be here.
I'm excited. I'm excited that you said, hey, let's do a show together. And I was like, you know what? That sounds like a splendid idea. I love that idea. So I'm excited now.
Yeah, and we're gonna have a good time, and people they gonna learn something. And you know what I'm saying? We're gonna get that good HBCU energy going on, because you already got it kicked off with the bands and everything in the pre-show. So
that's the culture right there. I can't forget about that. But do you want to go ahead and, for those viewers who don't know about you or about your podcast, can you just tell them a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so Wayne Cartwright, I am a 2000 graduate of Alabama A&M University. originally from Cleveland, Ohio. I live in Columbus, Ohio now. I actually work at the Ohio State University. I was on the first season of Sports Jeopardy. Sports is my thing. Also track and field official for Ohio High School, USATF, and I've also done the SWAC Indoor Championship once. So yeah, my podcast
championship you were an official.
Yeah, an official. I also ran track. Also ran track at and cross country at A&M too. So yeah. But our podcast is
SWAC. You are SWAC.
I am SWAC. So our podcast is From the Hill Podcast. We've been doing it we're on our third season. It's myself, Dave Thomas, Tenarius Gooden, Jay the Great, Jennifer Murray, DT Green, Corey Williams, and your boy. So we've been doing it big. And then also I got my own little thing that people probably have seen, 10 minutes. And gonna have a show of my own launching here coming up here in the next week or two.
Okay, well, congratulations on that up and coming show. And of course, your podcast is always great to collaborate with other HBCU podcasters. It's great to have you on the show. I'm really excited. I actually put a little bit of work into this show with my graphics and everything. So I think we're going to have a really good time tonight. So usually what I do is I start off with some HBCU community news and just ask for your thoughts and opinions. And then we get people in the chat to give their thoughts and opinions. And so that's where we're at tonight. And so the first SWAC, or not necessarily SWAC, but HBCU community news is that Delaware State missed their original flight to Hawaii for week 0 game.
Yeah. Whew. Yeah, I saw that. And first off, just so bring some context to people know. So the way that Hawaii usually does their payment games, they usually pay you like 150 to 200K, and they take care of all your travel. So, but even the fact that they took care of your travel and your accommodations and all that for you not to make the flight to what was reported a bus issue is definitely not a good look. Not a good look.
Oh my gosh. When I read it, I was like, this is embarrassing, like very much so embarrassing. And you know what? It's not even their fault. It's not their fault, right?
Nope.
So I'm going to go ahead and read an article that basically gives the background to this story. And then I'm going to get a little bit more commentary from you because like you pointed out that they're getting paid poverty wages. Lord have mercy.
Mm-hmm.
Poverty wages. So Delaware State travel issues explained. This is from Lorenzo Reyes from USA Today. So it does look like they're going to make it. They missed their scheduled flight Tuesday because of a shuttle bus delay. So basically they had to take a 3-hour bus ride, I want to say, to New York because they wanted to do basically a straight flight. Because they missed that particular flight, they now, instead of having to take one plane, they have to take 3 separate flights. That is inhumane for football players. They're going to be exhausted. Jet lag is real, and the time difference is ridiculous. But it says the Delaware News Journal reported that the football team is traveling. They left Wednesday. They're expected to arrive in Honolulu Wednesday afternoon. Their trip Wednesday is now requiring 3 separate flights instead of a straight flight. It's a 5,000-mile flight. And Wirtz Motor Coaches was responsible. I want to look up Wirtz Motor Coaches. I want to know who owns that particular shuttle. And so they spent Tuesday night in New York City hotel while they arranged alternate travel plans. Unfortunately, they couldn't get that. So Stan Becton, they posted his, well, actually, he reposted basically the Delaware State football team. And they look like they're in
It look like they're not pressed about it.
No, I mean, they're going to Hawaii, they're in New York. You know, they probably don't necessarily have an issue with necessarily that aspect of it. I'm more concerned with how many flights you have to get on. But did you see this? Just like you said, they're only paying Delaware State $180,000 to participate in the game.
Yep. They do that, and they take care of all you.
What was that?
I mean, but the thing about this is it's not just Delaware State. Like last year they played Albany, which is a FCS team, went deep. They went in the playoffs. They paid them I think it was $125,000, and they took care of their travel. And you can see Northern Iowa, another FCS team, $165,000.
Maybe it's because it's Hawaii, right?
Yeah.
So they're basically okay. So for the reason I'm guessing is because it's Hawaii, it's like a travel destination, right?
Yep.
So I'm guessing they're hedging their bet, like it's a trip to Hawaii. We're paying for your hotel accommodations, and we're covering transportation from the airport, hotel, practice facilities, and stadiums.
Yep.
Doesn't say anything about food in there, and it is hot. Hawaii is very expensive. I think a loaf of bread is like $10 to $12. Gallon of milk, probably up down to $15 now, if you think about it.
Yep.
But the Hornets, they won one game last year, so it's not.
And they're not going to win this game either. Nah, they weren't going to win it. They weren't going to win this game anyway.
Right. There's not going to be a line for this game. It's week 0. It's a chance to go to Hawaii. So safe travels, and they should be here by now. So next on the list, of course, I want your thoughts on this. So North Carolina A&T didn't invite Hampton's marching band to their homecoming. They're like, it's Aggie Pride only, VIP.
Yep.
What do you think about HBCUs not having the visiting football team's band join in?
So, North Carolina A&T, they use the acronym GHOE, greatest homecoming ever. Okay. And this is a huge homecoming. It's one of the biggest, one of the best that people say there is in all the land. And they're trying to sell out the stadium. They're trying to use all the tickets. They're trying to maximize all the space. And I read a report that they sold all the tickets anyway to where Hampton could have sat. So I know a lot of people are probably like, hey, we would have loved to have seen both bands, but let's just keep it real. It's homecoming. They're not going to miss them. They're not going to miss them. At the end of the day, you're not going to miss Hampton's marching band anyway. That's just how I feel about it. Right.
So I can understand that, because I'm thinking like a lot of times HBCUs schedule teams that they know they can beat. It looks like you guys tried that, didn't you? Against Jackson State, you guys scheduled us, right, for that homecoming?
We tried. I don't know if we necessarily tried.
We ruined that homecoming that year. But to your point, most of the time they'll schedule somebody that they know that they're going to beat, right?
Yep.
And sometimes they even schedule a D2 team for their homecoming. I think for me, it's more so because North Carolina A&T and Hampton are in the CAA. And so there's only a couple of games in which you're going to get that true HBCU cultural experience. So maybe they should have not scheduled Hampton for homecoming, right?
Perhaps, but also, you know, we don't know in the Coastal Athletic Association, we don't know about how they're scheduling pods, you know, how they work. We don't know if there were any other options or whatnot. So, but at the end of the day,
it was tight about it. I was just like, well, for Jackson State, like folks want to come to battle the Sonic Boom of the South. They want to. So the last order of business, let me see. It's scrolling through them. I think I have one more topic. Let me see. Or maybe it's only two because we have so much to talk about with regard to your, I want to know, you know, you're going to break it down for us, your SWAC predictions. So I think maybe I only placed 2 on here. Yeah, I did. So that's it. We're going to move right into the big SWAC predictions, of course. I put up Mr. Ford's predictions on here because we did a show the other day and we got his week 0 predictions, and they're kind of similar to yours. They're very similar. And so I'm interested. I'm just going to let you go ahead and get the floor because I've already explained why I think Jackson State is number 1. And, you know, so I'm going to let you go ahead and have the floor and explain your rankings.
Okay. So first off, we'll start from the bottom. All right. Valley. All right. As everybody knows how I like to say it, shout out to Valley. Shout out to Valley. I always have to say it twice because, you know, there's some people out here that think that I love to pick on Valley, and I don't like to pick on y'all. Y'all have some rough moments. Shout out to y'all. You know, new scoreboard, new turf coming in. Got your Vampire in Brooklyn new logo looking, you know, all that good stuff. You know, Valley, I think, is going to struggle to win a game this year. I did have them going 1-11, and I gave them the win over at Pine Bluff. But that doesn't mean that they won't come up and scare somebody because they play real good, especially against this team right here. We play them the last game of the season, and if we're struggled and we're checked out and, you know, we go on the road, people act like they don't want to be here, you could get got. All right, so then Bethune-Cookman. All right, Bethune-Cookman, shout out to Coach Woody, doing some real big things. I have them at 3-9, but that's a 3-9 that.
What three teams are they beating? Valley and who?
Valley, Texas Southern, and Clark Atlanta. Those are their 3. Mm-hmm. I also think that because Grambling comes down there, last time Grambling came in there, they beat Grambling. You know, we went down there last year. They put 412 yards rushing on us. We scored the first 14, didn't score since. It ended up being 31-14. They've got some players, but I think that they're a year away from putting it all together. I have them at 3-9, but their best case is they could get up to 5-7 or 6-6. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, my team. Now, I said that my team would be 7-5. I do not believe that we can beat or that we're going to beat the 3 teams that are in front of us, FAMU, Jackson State, or even the Classic. I say that right now on August the 22nd, because one thing about me, and you'll find this out real quick that many of the other folks know, I am a non-biased participant. I tell it like it is. If we're not good, I'll tell you we're not good. I'm not going to pick us if we're not good. You know, I'm just going to say it like it is. But
so what? I'm going to just stop you right there because at this point, 7-5 is not going to cut it for your current coach.
Right. Exactly. But let me finish. I'm setting this thing up for you. Now, I have watched them in person in the scrimmage. I have seen their personnel. My questions that I always had about our team was our defense, because we have a new defensive coordinator and we had a lot of new personnel over there, new defensive line, everything. We only really returned 1 star on our defense, which was our corner Amari Pate, who was second team all SWAC last year. But I've seen our front; it looks pretty promising. On offense, this is probably the best offensive line that Manor has had. We returned our entire backfield from last year with Eaglin and Ryan Morrow, and we picked up a really good freshman in Nero. Our receivers, you know somebody very well who transferred to us, Duke Miller. Looks pretty good so far. Has good chemistry with our quarterbacks. And then also we have Jacoby Hewitt and we have Keenan Hamrick. Good wide receivers. And then when you throw in our tight end, DJ Martin, who transferred from UT Martin, we've got something on offense. But our problem is, can we stop people? And that was our problems last year. Could we stop people? And also, can we play one quarterback? So I believe we're 7-5, but I think worst case, we could end up 4-8. If we don't find quarterback, we don't keep people healthy, things like that. Okay. Now, next, Alabama State. So a lot of people, the coaches, they picked them to win the league. And a lot of people think that because Andrew Body is there, and also with the ability that Alabama State has to play defense, they think that they can get it done. And also one thing that they have going for them, they have a very favorable schedule. They've got you guys coming to Montgomery. FAMU comes to Montgomery. Prairie View comes to Montgomery. And then they play us and Alcorn on a neutral site in the state of Alabama. So this is probably, if Eddie Robinson is going to get it done, this is probably the time he has to get it done, because this schedule sets up for them to be able to do that. Now, the concerns that they have, though, is they have to replace a lot of talent. Their leading receiver, Keyshawn Johnson, is gone. So they're going to expect Tyree Saunders to take a bigger role as a wide receiver. They lost Mikey Victor, who was, first team all SWAC corner. They have 2 very good corners back with James Burgess and Eamon Scarborough. Okay. Traquan Thomas. Remember the name.
Traquan Thomas. I need to write down Thomas. TT.
Yep, Traquan Thomas. One of the best linebackers in the SWAC. Now, I know a lot of people say that, Bubba Adams was 1 of 1, but this guy, he's got the ability to fill those shoes real good. I
think Coach Eddie Robinson spoke highly of him at SWAC Media Day.
Yep. So the questions that Alabama State has, though, is offensive line. That's a question. Defensive line is a question as well. And also, Andrew Body hasn't played a game in what is now about 2 seasons now, right? And
one and 3/4 the season, right?
Okay, there you go. And he has to prove that he can stay healthy. I have him at 8-4 because I think that they're going to be a better team in the second half of the season than in the first half. Like, I don't see them winning the game in Miami. I see them competing, but I don't see them winning the game in Miami. And I think
you don't think they're going to beat North Carolina Central?
I don't. And the reason why is
after North Carolina Central's lackluster performance versus Richmond and Howard, they were exposed. And on top of that, they lost their quarterback.
Yeah, but this is a new season, though. New season.
Yeah.
And the head coach is still there.
Yeah.
And they've got some guys on defense. And in first games of the season, if you got a pretty good defense, those things can tend to carry the day. So that's what I say about Alabama State. Now, to you guys, I have you guys being at 9-3. And the thing about you guys,
9-3 and we can't win the SWAC East.
I actually have you and FAMU both at 9-3. And I'm going to tell you why. I don't have you guys winning the SWAC East. First off, I'll tell you about your team. you guys are a very good football team. And I'm not even gonna hold it up. The offensive line is really good. Kirk Ford, Evan Henry, Towns Blue, Cam James, these guys will be very good, and your run game will be solid also. You know, if you can keep Irv Mulligan healthy, and then you get Moultrie in there, I think you guys will be good. Also, keep Morgan healthy. That's another thing. You know, but I think where it's at, with all the talent that you guys have, I think you guys are going to get off to a really strong start. I have you guys actually going 9-1 to start the year. Your one loss will be your opener. I have you going 9-1, but then I have you, now remember when I said that I think Alabama State is going to be better in the second half than they are in the first half. You play Alabama State.
You think we finna lose to Alabama State again after they ruined our homecoming?
Yeah, I do.
No,
I do.
No,
I do.
That's a get back game. We got to get it back in blood in Montgomery.
Yeah, I do. But I will tell you this, sis. Best case though, I think you can go 10-2. I really think you can go 10-2. Really do. And if you really want to go a little bit further, if you all put it all together, you could go 11-1. That's how good you guys are. But the question marks are your receiving core. You guys got to have a consistency with your receiving core and also your passing game. Because remember, when you guys struggled last year, the games you did struggle, most of it was related to your passing game. Defense was solid all year.
It was our special teams, and it was the play calling. You know, Jason Brown is not a mobile quarterback. He has bricks for his feet, right? So
yep.
Our offensive coordinator had him. Well, okay. So first things first is our offensive line was exposed at in Atlanta versus South Carolina State. It was exposed, and instead of fixing the O-line, they let the young gentleman rock the next game, and we got hammered. It was absolutely terrible. Special teams was terrible. The offensive line and our linebackers. For me, I think that our quarterback room is stout. We didn't have just Jacoby and Morgan that was injured last year. We had multiple quarterbacks injured, multiple of our special teams that were injured. And then our linebacker core was kind of, you know, thin in the soft in the middle, as Mr. Ford would say. I think that those games that you're speaking of, so then Alabama State, yes, it's going to be a hard game, but for us, we kind of look at that as what is that? Is that JSU North, y'all? Y'all let me know in the chat. What do we call Montgomery? Because whenever we have a game against Alabama State in their home, we take over. Jackson State takes over. So, you know, I forgot what we call it. I don't know if it's JSU North or it's one of them. But you don't think we could beat ULM? They are terrible.
I know they were terrible. I know they were terrible, but
imagine being that terrible and the FCS team still can't pull out a win. I mean, abysmal.
Now,
like they said, booty call. What was it? Booty call. General booty rocking everywhere. Jackson State by 40.
I'll say this. ULM is not going to beat y'all by a lot. They're going to have to sweat to beat y'all. I think y'all going to give them a real strong game. But I think that they'll beat you guys. But like I said, all the other games with the talent you guys have, and if you can just kind of just, you know, stay healthy and stay out of your own ways, I think you guys got it. I mean, receiving core, I mean, Fabian McCray, you know, he's solid, you know, and then you guys got transfers. So, like I said, I think you're a very good football team. Very good. I'm not even going to hold it up. Okay, now FAMU. All right, so I will tell you, I went back and forth probably 50 times between FAMU and you guys for winning the East. And the reason why I picked FAMU is I know people like to say, all right, they got a new head coach, and they say that things are going to fall off when you have a new head coach. Well, here's the thing. They also retained the offensive coordinator. Now, some people say, well, Willie Simmons called the plays. Here's the thing. Head coaches call plays, but you have offensive coordinators on every staff. The offensive coordinators help you with the game plans. They help you with the whole thing. They kept the offensive coordinator, so that's some continuity. Also, even though you have a new quarterback, Daniel Richardson still is a quarterback that has lots of experience. Now, he'll be thrown to the fire early on Saturday night, which we'll talk about a little bit later.
Right.
But you look at the other pieces they got. Kenneth Dean.
Wait, you said their offense. I'm gonna push back a little bit. Can I have an unpopular opinion? FAMU's offense was not all world. They would start off slow, and then they would get it back in the second half. But their play calling, it wasn't like, let me see. I'm trying to figure out what I could compare it to. A Kill Glass type of numbers. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't that. Let me just toss that in there. Toss it back at you. Their offense was not necessarily just all world the greatest, right? They just always push through. You're right. Maintaining that offensive scheme, and the fact that they lost a lot of their O-line, I don't think it's going to be like last year.
Well, let me say this. All right. So when we talk about their offense, first off, from last year, yeah, we know that Jeremy Musi struggled in road games. Home games, they always look like something different. But they did make the plays when they needed to. Now, one thing that I'm going to go back to, I'm going to talk about continuity. All right. Kenneth Dean, running back, right? He's back. All right. Played a lot of football. Also, Jeremiah Pruitt, receiver, played a lot. Tight end, played a lot of football. All right. Then you put in some guys. You put in these two guys that they got on the offensive line, Ashton Grable and Jameel Goss. These two guys, they played last year. All right. Then defensively, Kendall Bowler. Everybody knows about Kendall Bowler. Physical, real strong in the defensive backfield. They've got guys that have played a lot of ball. Yes, they have transfers. Yes, there's new personnel. But the way I look at it is I look at the fact that you still have a lot of experience there. And also, I think that they're going to play with a big chip on their shoulder, considering all the things that have happened beyond the field. And so that's just where I think that, I think that they're going to beat you guys in a tiebreaker. You guys are going to beat them when they come to the vet. No question about that. You guys are going to beat them when they come to the vet. And I'm looking forward to seeing that game. You're on mute. I can't even hear you.
I'm on mute. So you think we're going to beat FAMU, but they're still going to win out?
Yeah, here's the reason. Reason why I said that they're going to beat you guys is because I have you guys losing to Alabama State and I have you losing to Alcorn at the end. So that's why. But best case, I have them at 9-3, which is what I say they're going to be. Worst case, they could be 7-5. So that's just where I am.
You must got them. You have to have them winning that Norfolk game because they are losing. They have 2 back-to-back, which at that point is going to be strategic. You're not going to necessarily put your starters in for that Miami game or the Troy game because you're going to risk injury. But some like some of these players actually want to get some minutes in with these games because you make a play, it could make a difference in getting that call for whether or not you're going to get drafted or if you're going to be an undrafted free agent. So those games for FAMU are difference makers for a lot of the players. So they might want to get a couple of reps in. But for me, I'm gaming on the fact that they have those very two hard back-to-back devastating. I feel like that's devastating to schedule two FBS teams back-to-back. And we'll see how it works out though.
Yeah, but like I said, I think you guys, and for everybody that all the Jackson State fans in here, like I said, you guys have a very good football team. And I like I said, I kept going back and forth about whether it's y'all or whether it's FAMU. And this is for real. And what some folks are saying about, well, FAMU is this, FAMU ain't that, like I see this comment here. You can think what you want. You can say what you want, but everybody's opinions are what they are. But I can tell you that I've dissected a lot of this stuff and look at all these rosters.
Yeah.
And guess what? For all the stuff that people say and all the stuff that people investigate, the game's still going to get played. Period. So it don't matter what you think or what we think. The games are going to get played.
Right.
But like I said, Jackson State's a strong team, and they could win. They could win the East. Definitely could. In fact, they have a strong possibility to win the East. There, you've heard it. So y'all take that.
And by the way, the money is in the bank. Okay, so the Rattlers. So based off of your analysis, I'm guessing you're giving them first in the East, number one, because they are Celebration Bowl champs and because of their roster being stacked still with some good starters.
No, last year has nothing to do with my pick. This is just solely based off of the experience and also the fact that you've got some continuity there with people that stayed on staff. So that's where I'm at. Last year has nothing to do with any of my picks. And I know a lot of people, if you don't know about teams, the first thing you do is you think about what were they last year. Mm-hmm. And like a lot of people, I saw some people had us at 4-8, A&M at 4-8. And hey, that's your right to say we're 4-8 because guess what? We didn't beat anybody to write home about last year. So yeah, that's your right. But from what I've seen of us, I know that we're better than 4-8, much better than that. And also the fact that we've got a coach that knows he needs to win to stay around in Huntsville. That means a lot too.
Okay. And let me, Mr. Ford just entered the chat and I'm sure he has some questions for you regarding your picks and your analysis. Hey, how you doing, Mr. Ford? Oh, wait, he dropped off. Maybe he'll come back up there. He dropped off. But I think it's interesting because I myself, said that Alabama A&M is definitely going to knock a couple of folks in the mouth. Not Jackson State, possibly, I'm rolling with Zoe when he said that Alabama A&M can knock them down in tally. Hey, Mr. Ford.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes. How you doing?
Okay, doing good. I'm listening. I'm listening.
You listening? Well, so what do you think about Mr. Cartwright's analysis?
That's Mr. Cartwright's analysis. That's his opinion. To be honest with you, FAMU and Jackson State hadn't been on my mind lately. I'm gonna be honest with you. What I've been thinking about is the decision that came out of Baton Rouge to start Noah Biden over that those kids. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah. That's interesting. And I want to know who the Prairie View quarterback is going to be. as far as FAMU gonna show you what they got. And like he said, Jackson State gonna show you what they got. I still believe Judgment Day is what is it, October 19th? Whoever wins that game goes to the Celebration Bowl.
You hear
and
that,
probably
Mr.
wins it.
Canva? You hear that,
Huh?
Mr. Canva? No.
Yeah. But the thing I'm worried about now is I was talking to some of my Southern friends, and we don't want to lose that kid. There's a redshirt freshman down there from Baton Rouge. We don't want to lose that kid to the transfer portal. And I still believe that the best quarterback for Prairie View is the kid that came from the University of Houston.
Yeah, Lucas Coley.
Coley. Now Blue is high on Cam Peterson, and you can't discard what Blue says, because I tell everybody, Blue talked about that kid. Remember the kid that's at the University of Washington? I mean, the University of Miami now.
Cam Ward.
Listen, Blue blew that boy up 2 or 3 years ago and told all of us how good he was, and now they saying that kid got a chance to be the Heisman Trophy winner. So when Blue say something, I listen. I'm gonna be honest with you. I listen to what he said, and he likes that kid, the other kid that you just named down there, Prairie View. I like that kid from the University of Houston.
Yep, Lucas Coley is him, and they haven't officially named the starter yet, but the word is that he's a leader in the clubhouse. And
yeah, I think he's elite. Yeah, right. Like you said, I think he's elite. But I think he's the kind of kid that can carry a team. I've watched it, like you said about the film. I've watched this film. I think he can carry a team. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, and I tell people this all the time now, and a lot of folk get mad about this. If we were going by the money, about the amount of money that's spent on football, Prairie View should be the SWAC king. Because nobody spends more money on athletics than Prairie View. And I tell everybody, football-wise, to me, I think Prairie View's underdeveloped. For the money that they spend, they should be better than what they are. And the other thing with Prairie View is there are not great expectations on Prairie View like it is in Baton Rouge or like it is in Grambling. See, Prairie View, and Doc talks about this all the time, Prairie View cares about the game in Dallas, this was State Farm, what they call it?
State Fair Classic.
State Fair Classic, their homecoming, and then that game, the first game of the season, which I can't wait to see too.
Texas
when they play
Southern,
Texas Southern. Yeah. Mm-hmm. See, that, you know, it's like the emphasis is on 3 games. See, that's not Grambling, that's not Southern. See, when Southern lose a game, they feel like the sky falling in. Grambling lose a game, they upset. They trying to figure out now who need to go. You know, they not like that at Prairie View. But I'm just saying, by the money that Prairie View spends, Prairie View should be ruling this way.
Yep. I actually have Prairie View winning the West.
I got Southern.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, I got Southern. But I tell everybody now, go ahead on and beat up Mickey Joseph this year. Just like I say, go ahead on and beat up Chennis Berry this year. Because, baby, after this year, all bets is off. Telling you.
So, Mr. Cartwright, do you have any more commentary for the SWAC East as far as FAMU and you know, you want to move on to the SWAC West?
Yeah, we can go to the West.
Okay. I ain't even gonna hold you. I didn't do your graphics for SWAC West.
It's fine. It's fine. So, like I said, for me, so I have Pine Bluff winning 1 game. They play Arkansas Baptist, NAIA team. They'll beat that team. And I give them, they could also beat Valley, and they could also beat Texas Southern. So they're definitely winning 1 game. I can tell you that.
Dang. You know what? Everybody scheduled UAPB as their proverbial homecoming game. They got like 3 homecoming games.
Yeah, you know, Lonzo Hampton, I mean, he when you hear him talk, I mean, he sounds like a politician and a car salesman. You know, their biggest thing is they gotta continue to develop. Last year, if anybody watched them, I mean, they were so undersized on both lines. They played hard, and I give them props because nobody saw them coming way back against Texas Southern in that last game. So Shout out to Pine Bluff. Then I got Texas Southern coming in. I got them going 3-9. Chris Dishman, first year. Yeah, they have a quarterback though. Jace Wilson is pretty good as a quarterback, but they need to get more parts.
Okay, so Chase was from last year, right?
Yeah. He took over when Body got hurt last year. So he's the starter now. It's his team. And then I have Southern. I have Southern at 5-7. Sorry about that to all the Southern folk out there.
But here's my. He got them at 5-7. They only gonna win 5 games.
No, well, let me tell you this: if the quarterback play is subpar, he's right. But if the quarterback play is good, listen, Southern's gonna continue. It's Southern's the biggest question mark for Southern is quarterback. That's why I hope they handle this situation with that quarterback. I like Noah Biden, but I'm telling you, they cannot lose that kid from Baton Rouge. Okay?
Yeah,
it's going to go real sour for Terrence if he loses that kid. Now, what I say is this: you can start Terrence, but you better get some packages for that kid. You better have that kid in that game. You better, because that kid, he brings, to be honest with you now, Noah might have more experience, but that kid from Baton Rouge brings more to the table. That kid is true dual threat. Noah's not dual threat. Noah's a pocket passer. This kid, he can pocket pass, he can throw it on the run, and he can take off with it.
He's right. And the other thing about Noah is you've never seen him do anything for a full season. It's always been a start here, a start there, come in relief. So, there's question marks. Now, Kendrick Grimes, solid running back when he's healthy.
Solid running back.
Yeah, when he's healthy.
Yeah.
And Kelby Givens on the defensive line, stud. He's a stud. But the thing about it is, on the defensive line for Southern, if you can't get other guys to complement them, you can just double team them.
Yeah. So, see, here's the thing about Southern. Once Dawson Odoms was out of Southern and off to Norfolk, Southern lost concentration, focus, they lost discipline, and they lost organization. Now, because I believe that Terrence is going to bring it back because he's a disciple of Pete Richardson. All of those things I just mentioned, that's what Pete was known for. Now, I'm going to say this about Southern. Southern has never had a talent problem. They've never had a personnel problem. When Dooley got there, they had a head coaching problem. Okay. They weren't concentrating, they weren't focused, and they weren't organized, and they weren't disciplined. They lost all of that when Dawson Odom walked out the door at Southern. And that's what if Terrence can bring that back this year, Southern will contend. They will. Don't even worry about it because they got the talent now. Because, Southern can't help but have talent. Look where they located. They in the city of Baton Rouge. We're talking about 600,000 people. Then they 50 or 60 miles from New Orleans. Then they 300 miles from Houston. Then look how close they are to Mississippi. It's talent everywhere. Then they get people from Alabama. The personnel issue has never been an issue for Southern. It's coaching. That's the problem. And after Dawson Odoms left, the coaching went to the floor.
Damn.
Can't argue with that, man. So, that's where I got Southern. It's just a lot of question marks with them. And then next I have Alcorn. Now I know Alcorn, they're picked to finish first, but here's my reasons. Here's my reasons why I have them third. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, first off, all right. Did you see that schedule? They got to go to Grambling, to Prairie View, to Southern, and they play Alabama State in Mobile. Okay. They're playing everybody, all of the toughest teams except for Jackson State are on the road. Okay. And I think that that's going to be too much to overcome. Now, also, quarterback. If they had Aaron Allen back, then I'd be like, yep, I can see them being first, but they don't. They have Macon. Macon was going to be the presumed starter last year, and he didn't get it together, and now he's the presumed starter this year. But there's question marks. Defensively, the guy on your screen, Malachi Bailey, is as real as it comes.
Oh yeah.
When you look at him, you might say, "Wow, this guy's a defensive end because he's only 6'2" and he's like 260." But this guy had 9.5 sacks in 2022 and 9 sacks last year. So to me, I thought that he could have been the preseason defensive player of the year, and he may end up being the defensive player of the year before it's all said and done. They have some parts, but I think that road schedule is too tough to pick them to finish first. And then second, I have Grambling actually finishing second. Now, here's why I have Grambling finishing second. Now, everybody want to be quick to say, well, they lost a lot of talent on the defensive side, but Mickey Joseph with his pedigree, they brought in some transfers, and just with his pedigree, I think that he's going to be able to mold something on defense. Offensively, too, when you have a returning quarterback, and on paper, when you have the best returning quarterback in the league, that makes a big difference. Now, one question about Miles Crawley is, with Dooley being the offensive coordinator, all right, shout out to my boy G because he dropped this nugget for me. Dooley has always been successful with dual threat quarterbacks. Crawley is not really a dual threat guy. He's more of a pocket guy who can roll out and throw something every once in a while. So we'll see how that marriage goes, but I think it can work. And then also Javon Robinson at wide receiver. They've got some pieces that will work, and they have an experienced staff of former head coaches. So I think that too, with them having a favorable schedule, again, with the exception of the game against Prairie View neutral, all the rest of their toughest games are at home. They get Alabama State there. Now, the Jackson State game, that's non-conference, so that's not even part of the picture, not even part of the conversation, but they get Alcorn there. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I think that Grambling, they can take advantage of their schedule, and they'll finish a close second. Then I've got Prairie View number 1. Lucas Coley at quarterback. If you don't know about him, you're going to get a chance to find out. Also, their defensive line probably is the best defensive line in the SWAC.
Whoa. Who's got the
Prairie,
best?
Prairie View could have the best defensive line in the SWAC. Yes, I said it. That's going to be the strength of their defense. The strength of their defense. They've got three guys that are on all SWAC team. And all three of these guys have strong. All three of these guys have a lot of experience and play a lot of football. I'm talking about Presley, Marshall, and Farrell.
Okay, so I have a question. You said that they have experience. Prairie View got skull drug, not once, but twice against FAMU.
Yep. And you want to know why? You want to know why they got drugged? You want to know why they got drugged?
Why?
Because they were too one-dimensional on offense. They couldn't throw the ball. Remember, they had Trezon Conley. They had Trezon Conley. They were more running. And when they were running, they couldn't sustain any drives. So when you can't sustain drives, what happens? Your defense is on the field most of the game.
Right.
So, yeah. Okay. But if you look at the other games they played, other than the 2 FAMU games, look at all the other games they played and look at who they beat. So that's why I say. So I've got Prairie View winning the West, but it's going to be a close race, very close, and it's going to be as wild as it always is. And I'll say this in closing about these predictions. In both divisions, usually, the West is always up in the air. It just is what it is. The East, for the last 4 seasons, has been a runaway. The East will not be a runaway this year. This will actually be a dogfight. Now, it'll be very top-heavy in the East, but it won't be a runaway.
Who's the quarterback for Prairie View?
Yeah, we're talking about Lucas Coley, transferred from Houston.
Mr. Ford, you was telling us about that Prairie View defense and that linebacker.
And let me say this. I got to see Prairie View's defense. Not only I'm not impressed with Prairie View's defense, I'm not impressed with the defense coordinator. You know, last year I used to go tit for tat with Doc about it, and I said on numerous occasions, I thought that Bubba needed a new defense coordinator. And, you know, Doc always said he didn't think they needed one, and we would go tit for tat. Now, let me just say this about Miles Crawley, and Grambling is my school. I'm a graduate of Grambling. The kid at Prairie View that you just named, Coley, is better than Miles Crawley. The kid at Jackson State, that quarterback, he's better than Miles Crawley. That kid I'm telling you about that's down there at Southern, that's not Noah, but the backup kid that's from Baton Rouge, the redshirt freshman, he's better than Crawley. The kid at FAMU that y'all talking about got all these question marks about him, Daniel Richardson, he's better than Crawley. So I'm just saying all of this now. To be honest with you, I think Crawley's a little overrated, and Grambling's my school.
Okay. Hey, like I said, the games are gonna play itself out. But let me clarify something that I said though. I didn't say Prairie View was gonna have the best defense in the SWAC. I said they were gonna have the best defensive line in the SWAC. Mm-hmm. It's a big difference.
Yeah,
there are people in the comments. There are people in the comments that said there's no way that Prairie View is gonna have the best defense in the SWAC. I didn't say that.
Yeah, but now here's the thing with Prairie View. I didn't see organization with that defense. I didn't see that tenaciousness, that hostility, being able to take control of the ball game. I've never seen that in Prairie View's defense. I didn't see it when Miller, with the guy that's at Southern. Remember when Dooley was at Prairie View? They scored a lot of points, but they couldn't stop nobody. Okay, Dooley goes to Southern, then they give it to this guy that Fossima now, and they look worse. So my thing is, with Prairie View, they need a defense coordinator. Okay, you can go get these kids and this personnel and all that. I don't see a defense coordinator.
We'll see it play out. They get Texas Southern in week 1, and we're going to see it. They're going to get the chance.
Yeah, we'll see.
But like I said, the West is going to be as wild as it always is.
Oh, yeah.
Wild.
Oh, yeah.
So those are my predictions. That's the way I see it.
Y'all, make sure that you are following Mr. Cartwright. Go ahead, shout out your social media. We got about 146 folks in the chat. Go ahead and shout out your YouTube so they can make sure to subscribe. Since we're just midway in.
Yeah, you can subscribe to, as you can see, my social media handles are right there. At Wayne C. Jr. 4 at X and Instagram, and then also subscribe to From the Hill podcast, and also my podcast or my YouTube channel, Wild Wayne Cartwright. Lots of material coming. Also, everybody knows you've probably seen all of the funny real predictions in the SWAC that I always did, usually on Thursdays. I'm doing that in digital form now. So, I did one yesterday for week 0. Check it out. It's kind of funny. Love always looking at Dawson Odoms looking like Big Worm from Friday.
Yeah, you know what? He hadn't gotten it done. I was talking to my Norfolk people today at my school, and they said one of the issues at Norfolk is a basketball school. And people don't understand, when you are basically a basketball school, it's hard for the football team to get traction. Ask some people at the University of Kentucky or the University of Indiana. You can have a team every 10, 15 years, but when you're traditionally a basketball program like Norfolk is, that hurts your football. Just like some football programs, they won't allow you to have a good basketball team. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Personally, I don't think, and I tell people all the time, I have looked at every coach in the MEAC. All of them guys are quality. But I really don't see Dawson getting it done at Norfolk. And he's a quality coach. I would hire him in a second.
Yep.
I don't see him getting it done.
So we're gonna roll. So we're gonna roll in. We're gonna roll in and talk about the game Saturday. Then is that where we headed?
We are at week 0. I'm so glad that I have somebody here who, because those rattlers, they be getting on me saying I'm biased and I'm this and I'm that. So I'm so excited to have you on the channel because you're gonna be able to give your honest, non-biased opinion. About the game, and just before we go through,
it's just opinion. That's all it is. It's just opinion. It's just opinion. That's all it is. It's just opinion.
It's just opinion.
That's all it is.
So y'all don't get too upset with this week 0 matchup. But let's go ahead, get it down. MEAC-SWAC challenge. You know why we're here. I'm getting ready to do a YouTube poll. And basically I'm going to ask, who do you guys got for week 0? I'm going to let Wild Wayne go ahead and have the floor before I tell my prediction of who I feel like is going to win. Go ahead and like the stream. And let's get down to it.
Yeah, so I've already spoken at great length about FAMU. So I'll start with Norfolk State. So Norfolk State coming off a 3-8 season. Dawson Odoms, this is his 4th season. And he started off 6-5. Then it went 2-9. And then it's been 3-8. Now, the thing about last year they lost 5 of those 8 games by single digits. And some of the games that really stood out is they only lost by 4 to Howard and by 4 to Morgan State. And they also lost by 14 at North Carolina Central. Those are the 3 best teams in that conference, okay? They also have 16 of their starting 22 from last year back. And 4 of the 5 starters from their offensive line also returned. So those are some of the things they have going for them. Now, other things though, starting quarterback and preseason first team all MEAC quarterback Otto Coons is suspended for the first 4 games at least.
Wait, who is suspended?
Yeah, Norfolk State starting quarterback Otto Coons. He was the preseason MEAC first team quarterback. So he is not playing in this game. In his place, they're starting a junior college transfer from Garden City Community College, Jalen Daniels. All right.
Damn.
He is starting.
That's the season right there.
Beating Coons out during the workouts. I think he was going to start anyway.
Yeah, so he's going to be starting, and they do have their starting running back, or they have one of their best running backs from last year. He's back. Their defense is pretty good, but their offense is less than be desired. Okay. For me in this game, I think that you're going to see a lot of penalties because you see that in opening games, a lot of pre-snap penalties. I have FAMU winning this game. I don't see it being a blowout. At first, I thought it was going to be a blowout, but I don't see it being a blowout. I actually see FAMU winning this game 27-14.
And FAMU's starting quarterback, that's the shortest one on the team, ain't it? The 5'10" quarterback.
Yeah, he can play, Mr.
Ford. Mr. Ford.
Yeah.
Are you still ranking FAMU number 1 after you swore?
Number 1. They're the defending champs until somebody knocks them off the throne. But let me say this. If FAMU does not beat Norfolk decisively, I'm going to be severely disappointed. Those are 2 teams going in totally different direction. One's going up and the other one's going down. And so if FAM does not beat them decisively, I got some problems. I got some problems and some questions. Because There's no way Norfolk should be on the field with FAM. No way.
So if Norfolk is on the field with FAM, what does that say about FAMU?
Yeah, that's it. I got some problems. And I'm gonna be severely disappointed. Now he does have a point usually because when we coach, right, the first 2 to 3 games, you're trying to get your timing down. Yeah, a lot of excessive penalties. But FAMU, like he stated to you earlier, even though they lost General Hunt, even though they lost that defensive end and they lost some more people to graduation, that is still a stud ball team. And one thing they got now more than anything, they got tremendous size. Go look at that roster. They are big. And they brought in some play. They got group of 5 FBS transfers who are not even on the second string. That lets you know how tight it is in Tallahassee.
They are deep.
From Florida State. That kid came in 5-star to Florida State. That kid's not even on the second string. Yeah. So I'm going to be severely disappointed if FAMU plays Norfolk tight. I'm going to be severely disappointed.
Yeah, and I'll also add this. If FAMU does blow these guys out, expect the kind of overreactions that was out there like last year. Now remember when you guys blew out South Carolina State? Remember there were people who said that Jason Brown was better than Shedeur Sanders. I was like, what?
You didn't say that.
There were people who said that. I was like,
I
what?
will say this: Jason Brown does hold, regardless of how the rest of his season went. He automatically holds like 4 or 5 records for the MEAC-SWAC challenge. He holds like 3 or 4 records regardless. And I think the overreaction came because, man, those folks from the MEAC was like, Jackson State's getting ready to lose. South Carolina State's going to dog walk them. And it was peasy. It was nobody on this channel because I have never said that he was.
I mean, South Carolina State was terrible. They were horrible last year.
That was probably the best game that I ever went to. The best game that I ever went to. It was so good.
It was easy for y'all. Y'all had a cakewalk. That was so easy.
I didn't even want them to score a touchdown. That's how bad I wanted them to lose. And we ended up giving 1 touchdown down in the 4th quarter. But I think that the overreaction and all the yelling and hoopla came from all the hate and, like you said, kind of like where FAMU is, where their coach exits and you have so many naysayers who are talking stuff. It was kind of like, okay, this is our coming to the realization that we have a new coach. And it was great. It was awesome. The band, the fans, everything, sold out crowd. It was just awesome. So for FAMU, I'm gonna say this. Of course, I'm gonna be messy and say, behold the green and gold. Behold. Of course, I'm gonna be messy and say that, right?
Mm-hmm.
The MEAC-SWAC challenge, they've always bragged about the Celebration Bowl and how the MEAC always takes over. The MEAC-SWAC challenge, of course, we've had some great wins pulled out. Alabama State won, Jackson State won. For me, I think that this is more so of a bigger game for FAMU because this is going to tell us what we're working with, right? They said that they're going to run it back, right? Week 0 is time for us to get film on FAMU, just like everybody got film on Jackson State. Week 0, this is our opportunity to get film on FAMU. Then not only that, they have to go and play 2 FBS teams back to back.
Well, they play South Carolina State next. That's who FAMU plays. Yeah.
With that streak on the line.
So that is Chennis Berry's first year, right?
First game as South Carolina State head coach.
We got a lot of stuff brewing at South Carolina State. I can't say too much yet. I can't say too much, but maybe by Saturday we'll be having those conversations about South Carolina State football and the allegedly. Yes, behold the green and gold. I'm not gonna say I'm
But you
So
got to
this-
make a pick now. You got to pick it now. Come on,
gotta
who
pick.
you got?
I'm not ready to release my pick yet.
Okay, all right. You got till Saturday though. You got till Saturday.
Because I feel like I'm gonna be messy and say behold the green and gold. But if I'm being non-biased, I'm really at the point where I'm like where a lot of people were last year with analysis. You don't know what you have at FAMU. You don't. You lost your coach and you lost your quarterback. I'm gonna utilize the same narratives that were used against Jackson State when we lost Coach Prime and we lost some of our main coaches and we lost Shadur. I'm going to use those same narratives. It's too many unknowns for me. So the unknowns for me are the quarterback, which Mr. Ford been saying Muratovich all season long, and then he threw a curveball and said, who? How? Where? He wasn't even in the running. So you have a quarterback that was way left field. Even some of the FAMU Rattlers was surprised to see. And then you have a brand new coach. And when we say brand new coach, yes, he's had some coaching experience as a head coach, but it's not anything to brag home about, right? If you look at it. So you don't want to go off of that.
Yeah, I just really think in this game, the most important for FAMU is, that they find some kind of flow to get Daniel Richardson comfortable, because they've got bigger games ahead. I mean, regardless, everybody knows, regardless if they won this game by 1 point or 50, the mission is still going to be the same.
A win is a win.
The mission's still going to be the same for them. You know what I'm saying? They're still going to be the hunted. Everybody's going to come after them and things like that. Just like how you guys were last year. And the funny thing was, last year, I had you guys, if you would have just won that game against Alcorn, I would have had y'all record spot on. Remember, I had y'all at 8-3. And if you would have won that game, I would have had y'all spot on. And I remember people questioned me last year. They said, why you think we going to finish 8-3? And exact same stuff that I've been saying about FAMU is the same stuff I said about you guys last year. Is the fact that you had some continuity and you had some talent that you brought in mixed with what you had left over. And so I kind of see FAMU kind of out of that same way of this year. Because the first thing people try to do is, okay, the coach left. Oh, they're in, that word that they throw around, shambles. And I'm like,
oh no, FAMU absolutely was in shambles.
Well, but I'm just saying though, they said football was in shambles. Now, I ain't talking about all that other stuff.
Oh, okay.
I ain't talking about that other. I'm talking about football.
FAMU was not in shambles. They had a person as AD who was inept and incompetent. Now, this thing about this Daniel Richardson kid, Daniel Richardson is going to be better than Musa. Not only is he going to be better than Musa, he's going to get better every game because that offense that FAMU runs, it fits his talent. Now, the other thing is, by the end of the season, ain't nobody going to mention Jeremy Musa because this kid is going to be better than Musa.
FAMU was in shambles.
I had a lot to say about Musa last year because I always said that, Musa, he was going to throw you some incompletions. And he was going to give you a gift. But that defense last year bailed them out when their offense didn't work a lot.
No doubt about it. It was a defensive-led team. But I'm trying to tell you, with the offense that FAMU is running, that offense fits Daniel Richardson to the T. He should do very well in that offense. He'll get better every game. Okay? And I'm telling you, by the end of the season, ain't nobody going to be talking about Musa. Nobody.
We ain't talking about Musa now, actually.
Nobody gonna be talking about Musa.
I ain't talking about Musa. Shoot, look at the way he played in the Celebration Bowl. I'm still looking at that pick 6 that he threw. You remember he could have just handed it to him. But anyway, where we are just today, I just see that I think FAMU is gonna get it done. Norfolk, I'm not saying that Norfolk, they're not going to come out here and just lay down and just let them have it. I mean, like I said before, Dawson Odoms has his back against the wall. If he does not win, he will not see a 5th season there in Norfolk.
So now, he's on a prove it deal, just like Coach Maynard, then, right?
Absolutely, he is. Because here's the thing.
You got to remember one thing about Dawson Odoms. When Dawson Odoms got there his first year, that was a championship team. He didn't get it done. And they've been going down ever since. When he had that Pootie Carter, I don't know if y'all remember Pootie Carter.
Who? Pootie Carter?
Yeah, the kid. Pootie was a 6-foot quarterback, could throw it, could run it. That was a championship team. That team was built. All Dawson had to do was provide the direction for that team. They should have been the MEAC champions. They had the talent to be MEAC champions. After that team left, they've been on a downward spiral ever since.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think I would love to see it be a good game because it's national TV, and it's the one showcase that we're going to get before we get to the Celebration Bowl. So let's hope that we get some good football, and people are going to watch anyway because it's football. We so happy that it's back.
It's week 0.
That's the best thing. I'm just happy that it's back. Look, I'm watching high school football tomorrow night. I don't care. I just happy the football is back. Love it.
Okay, so I asked you to pick out 3 players from FAMU and then 3 players from Norfolk State that you think will have a significant impact on Saturday's game.
Yeah, so for Norfolk, Devon Allen, number 21, starting corner. He is regarded as one of the best, not just in HBCU, but he is regarded as one of the best corners in FCS football. They say that he has an outside chance to get drafted, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah, that's what they say about him. They also AJ Richardson, number 15 linebacker. He's their leading returning tackler, impact player. You know, he was first team all MEAC as a freshman last year. As a linebacker, I think given the fact that if FAMU does get into some issues with passing, you know they're going to come with that running game. And so he's going to be very important. And then lastly, Kevin King, number 13, their running back. With Jalen Daniels starting at quarterback in his first start, as I said, if they struggle passing, they're going to need that running game. You know, and with him being a returning starter, it's important that his experience shows itself. Now, on the flip side, FAMU, I think you got Daniel Richardson.
I can't even pull the folks up.
Sorry. I'll slow down. Here's AJ Richardson.
Yeah, 6'1", 245 pounds. He's from Kings Mountain, North Carolina. Yep. Sophomore.
Sorry, second team all defense. I said first team. Second team last year as a freshman.
Yep, so he had 10 tackles versus South Carolina State. 2.5 tackles for loss against Howard. Sacks, 1. Forced fumbles versus Morgan State. Pass breakups versus Towson. And then name that the previous young man.
I said Devon Allen, number 21. That was the first one.
Passes defended he had, and you know what? I'm questioning whether or not these are updated. 12 tackles and 1 forced fumble. Does that sound right? 4 passes defended?
No.
That don't sound right.
That's not it.
Well, you know, that is ESPN. So
but trust me, the guy's pretty good.
He's good.
And then the last one I said was number 13, Kevon King.
Kevon King?
Number 13.
Okay. Let's look up Kevon King and see what he working with over here at the Green and Gold. So these are the folks that when you should be hearing their name. He's a running back. He had 90 carries for 429 yards. Here it is, right here, Kevon King.
Yep, that's him.
He is from Chesapeake, Virginia. He saw action in 9 games, second on the team in rushing, 90 carries for 429 yards, and a team leading 5 rushing touchdowns. Recorded 5 catches for 58 yards and 2 touchdowns in the passing game. Posted a season high 116 yards on 19 carries and scoring 1 touchdown against Delaware State. Recorded 97 yards on 11 carries against Towson and scored 2 touchdowns on 8 carries for 21 yards against Morgan State.
Yeah, so he's their leading running back coming back. Their leading rusher, they graduated. So he's gonna be there. He's gonna be, as they say, the bell cow on offense running the ball. But the 2 guys before that I said, Allen and Richardson, you're definitely gonna hear AJ Richardson's name called a lot at linebacker because he was their leading tackler last year, and there's a good chance he's gonna be in on a lot of tackles on Saturday night. So I think for Norfolk State, the big thing is, defensively, they're going to have to really stand up. I'm
going to be trolling so hard. Any interception, any forced fumble, how you going to fix it? Miss field goal. How you gonna fix it? Anything that goes down. Norfolk up. The band is cranking. And it made a big time Willie. All right. Let me let you go back to your FAMU folks. Go ahead and drop the first one for me so I can pull them up.
Yeah, so obviously Daniel Richardson at quarterback. This is his first start for FAMU. It's not his first start in college football. As I said, he transferred. He previously played at Central Michigan, and he also played at Florida Atlantic. So this is a big opportunity for him, graduate year, and, he's going to definitely be in the spotlight. So the next guy I've got is the starting running back, number 9, Kelvin Dean. And everybody knows this guy real well because he was the offensive MVP of the Celebration Bowl. And he was very active last year. And he's expected to take a bigger role because his 1-2 punch with Yant, he transferred. So he's going to be carrying a big load this year. And I think that for him, this is the opportunity for him to establish himself. And then the last thing is I just named the receiving core. And the receiving core, I'm talking about Ace Cobb, Jamari Gassett, and Jeremiah.
I ain't heard none of them. Okay, I might have heard Pruitt, but outside of that, I didn't hear none of them folks from last year.
Gassett, number 2.
Outside of Pruitt.
Then you see Gassett, number 2.
Marcus Riley, gone.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of some other
Jamarie Shareed, gone. But you're talking about
neither one of them people you just called out will be missed.
Neither will be missed. Mr. Ford, that is your favorite your favorite thing to say is they won't be missed.
They won't be missed.
FAMU done bought in about 50 players. Don't nobody want to talk about it because it's not Dion and Jackson State's exit, but FAMU legit bought in a minimum of 50 players.
Run a lot of dudes. Yeah, some dudes.
A lot.
But I put the receiving core there because this is where you got to get yourself established. Yeah, you got to get yourself established. There's breaking news. Not starting at quarterback. Okay. Bo Somerset listed as a starter. All right. Hey, we're going to watch that.
Blue in the chat.
Hey, good shout out to you, Zach McKinnell. One of the best out there.
He said Dean isn't even starting, Mr.
Yeah, he
Ford.
said supposedly not
Right,
starting.
right. But see, that's because you don't know who Bo Somerset is. You're going to find out. You're going to find out why Ohio State and Michigan both offered him scholarships. You're going to find out.
Stayed, I wouldn't be starting.
Yeah, you're going to find out about Somerset.
Yep. But this is going to be an opportunity. He said, Mr. Fam, you must have more.
Mr. Ford, are you on retainer at FAMU?
No, I know about the program.
All right, Mr. Ford. When it comes time, we need to see FAMU winning by 40. Cause Willie gone. He gone.
Hey.
I think that we're all gonna have it down after Saturday night's game. We'll know, Mr. Ford. You'll know something right after that game.
Well, one of the things I want you to keep in mind, what you're going to see Saturday night is what Woody Hayes talked about 50, 60 years ago. Woody Hayes was head coach at Ohio State. He used to always say, whoever wins the trenches probably will win the game. What you're going to see FAMU is 3 deep on the offensive line, 2 to 3 deep on the defensive line. And that's the difference between the interior play of a Norfolk, okay, a less than mediocre team, and the interior play offensively and defensively at FAMU, a championship program. Now, I know you just asked him to name 3 players, but what you should have asked him about are units. And the number one thing you should have asked him about was interior play. That's going to be the difference in the game. Listen, you're going to watch FAMU's offensive line beat that defensive line to death. I'm not going to be surprised if FAMU don't end up with 250 yards rushing Saturday night. I'm not going to be surprised because they got deep backs. But the thing is, they got you got Goss on that left-hand side, who's probably going to go pro. Then next to him, you got that kid. He's from Jacksonville State. Is it Grable or Gable or something?
Grable, yeah, Ashton Grable.
You got a seasoned veteran from South Florida, Reyes at the center. You got the lead kid who used to be at the center. I loved him at the center because he was so dominant. He's at the right guard. And then you got that kid coming in from Troy State at the right tackle. That kid's like 6'7", 300 pounds. So that's what I'm telling you. The major difference you're going to see Saturday night is interior play, okay? You're going to see why FAMU is a championship program, and you're going to see why Norfolk is less than mediocre.
They said, Mr. Ford, they said that FAMU should have 250 yards rushing because they ain't going to be throwing the ball. Chat said it. I'm just laughing.
Listen, I'm gonna say this again to y'all. Y'all go as the season progresses. Y'all gonna learn about Daniel Richardson. I'm gonna tell you now. Y'all underestimating him. You gonna see though. You gonna see because he got a bowl. Go back and look at him in Central Michigan. He won a bowl.
I know, Mr. Ford. He's legit. I know he's legit.
You gonna see and see. We know about his high school. I think he won 2 state championships at Miami Central.
What?
Somebody can check that.
So he's like that.
No, see, you're underestimating him because you keep talking about he's 5'10". But listen, look at Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, I don't believe he's 6 feet tall, and I think he went to the Super Bowl twice, didn't he? And I tell you about it. Now I've never seen him in person, but Patrick Mahomes ain't no really tall person either, is he?
Man, Patrick Mahomes like 6'2". He's like 6'2".
Oh, okay. Well, now you're gonna say Russell Wilson is 6'2"?
Russell Wilson is definitely under 6 feet. He's like 5'11".
And then
his time at FAU left a lot to be desired, right? But everybody has their redemption year. He's a grad student. He has a lot of experience at the FBS level. So we're gonna see if that translates. That's all.
Absolutely. You get your chance in the spotlight.
I think he'll do well in that offense that they have at Florida A&M. I think he gets better every week.
Are you an honorary member of the quarterback club, the 220 quarterback club, Mr. Ford?
I wish. I love that. Listen now, y'all got to understand now. I'm a historian. When you start talking about people like Jack Gaither, and to me, those guys were pioneers of college football. So, do I have an admiration for them? Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Well,
we gonna see. We gonna see.
Well, let's go see what that poll is looking like.
Yes, let's see it. Let's see it.
Okay, so let's see what we got going on here. So FAMU Rattlers 54% and Green and Gold at 40, Norfolk at 46%. So I mean, they have FAMU winning it out, which that's all right. That's okay.
But how much of that 46% though is people that just really hate FAMU though?
Oh Lord! Now why you have to bring that up?
No, that's a real legit question though. It's just, I mean, it's not throwing shade. It's just a real legit question. You know what I mean? Just some people just say, "Hey, I want them to lose."
Right.
You know.
Well, the president-elect has just walked out. I don't want to miss her whole complete speech. So
this has been absolutely fun.
Yes. So can you give us some of your closing thoughts? Some unpopular opinion, or just give us some of your closing thoughts on this upcoming football season.
You talking about Mr. Ford or me?
You. Okay,
me. All right. So yeah, some of my thoughts. I think that it's going to be you're gonna see a whole lot of good defense being played around the SWAC. A lot of good defense is gonna be played. You're gonna see some teams. There's always somebody that you didn't expect. A team, some players. You're gonna see that. It's always happening. It's gonna happen. Unfortunately, there's gonna be some coaches that are gonna get fired.
Oh Lord, Mr. Ford, don't be over here putting the coaches on the chopping block after week 1 or 2.
Now,
give them at least 5 games. Mr. Ford cleared the West out last year. When I tell you he cleared them out, he named their name and said why that they needed to be gone. And by the end of the season, they were gone. And a couple of them that we didn't expect as well.
Yeah, so I think that it's going to be an exciting year. I think that one thing that we as fans, and also those of us that do a lot of analyzing, I think that we just need to just really remember that we have to enjoy this game. Yeah, we can trash talk. Yeah, we can get into it. But let's just remember that we're enjoying this great game. Because when we get it, it's exciting. But just as quick as it comes, it's gone. It seemed like it before you know it, it'd be like November, like in a snap. So let's just enjoy what we get. I think also with our football, I'd be remiss if I didn't say this. I think that it's an important thing that we try to take steps forward in our football. Quarterback play has been something that we've been lacking.
Lackluster.
It's been lackluster. I think we can get better at that. Also, wide receivers. We didn't have a 1,000-yard receiver last year. Keyshawn Johnson from Alabama State led the league with 819 yards. We had one 1,000-yard rusher last year, Ladarius Owens from Texas Southern. He had 1,370 yards. The next best guy was Jarvion Howard with 865. So, there's some things that we got to improve. And then also penalties, our gameplay. Let's hope that our gameplay gets better. Everybody knows when you watch our games, there seems to be times where the pace of the game gets bogged down because you got too many pre-snap penalties and a lot of holding calls. Now, yes, we know the SWAC refs. Let's hope that the SWAC refs can be better.
You are preaching. You are preaching right there.
Let's hope that the SWAC refs can be better. Right now, there's been a lot of missed calls and things like that. So let's hope that things can get better. But at the end of the day, this is an opportunity for us to grow. And let's hope that we grow so much that when the NFL draft comes around, that we can hear not just a name. Let's hear multiple names get picked this time. So looking forward to the season, and I'm thankful that I've had the chance to come on tonight, and I definitely want to do this again because this is lovely. Appreciate
I enjoyed myself as well. Thank you so much for coming on. We talked, and we definitely are going to have a joint show for the classic, the Bougie Bulldogs versus those Jackson State Tigers. Mr. Ford, you got any closing thoughts? I
want people to remember that black college football is going through a golden era. You know, one of the biggest lies that the white media put out that once Deion left and went up to Boulder, that the air would go out the room. That was the biggest lie. We've gotten bigger. And this like Brother Wild Wayne just said, this is a much anticipated season. But I do still believe that the winner of the October 19th game in Jackson at the Vet between Florida A&M and Jackson State, whoever wins that game wins the SWAC and then represents the SWAC in the Celebration Bowl and wins the Celebration Bowl.
Woo! That sounds like music to my ears.
We gonna see.
And so everybody, once again, make sure that, I don't know if you want to drop the link in the chat. Do you want to drop it? The link to your podcast?
Yeah. From the Hill podcast. You can follow us From the Hill podcast on YouTube. We're also on Spotify and Apple. Also, you can follow myself on YouTube, Wayne Cartwright. That's the name of my channel, and also my social media handles. We do our From the Hill podcast. It comes on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Central, and we've had plenty of people on. We've had Zoe from 1400 Club. He was on with us last year. We're gonna get you on with us. We have a good time. 6 of us having a good time, and and be on the lookout for more of my 10-minute videos on my podcast. Wild Wayne, and also I got a new show that I'm gonna be debuting coming up on Sunday nights, probably in a couple weeks. So appreciate y'all.
All right, and of course, I'm going to. Oh, you know what? I have a new joke for y'all, Mr. Ford. I got a new joke for y'all. This is a closing joke.
Okay.
Did you hear about what's going on in Boulder? They're trying to get folks from Saudi Arabia to give them NIL money.
No, I didn't hear.
I heard that.
Let me pull it up real quick. I'm gonna so let me see. This is funny. This is really, really funny that this transpired. You know what? I normally don't talk on their stuff, but it was just too funny to not pass up. So I'm gonna go ahead. Coach Prime's having a hard time with keeping those players.
We getting that money.
So allegedly, I don't want to even say alleged. So what happened is there was a coach that was on the team, and he was basically trying to get, he was a assistant football coach, Trevor Riley. He traveled to the Middle East during the past holiday season to try and secure funding from Saudi Arabia's public investment fund.
Yep. Yeah, they are very active because they're you know, I don't know, those of you that follow golf, the Live Golf Tour, that's the rival to the PGA Tour. It has a lot of that PIF funds, and there's been other leagues and other things that they've launched. So it's a real fund. It's real, but the fact that they went to go ask for it, wow, that's pretty bold.
Bin Laden money.
That oil money.
Why would they do that?
Hey, you know, I don't know.
That is so out the way, right? He resigned, and yeah. So that's what we're gonna go out to. Bin Laden money. Y'all have a good evening. Thank y'all for tuning in to She Loves Thee Thursday night with She Loves Thee with my special guest, Wild Wayne Cartwright. And of course, as always, thank you, Mr. Ford. Everyone have a good night.
We getting Bin Laden money.